Swami, we have a couple more minutes, and we have both you and Swami Sarvapriyananda on the screen. Would you like to unmute Swami Sarvapriyananda? And just a few concluding remarks from both of you before we end with a yoga therapy session.
Swami, I've been talking, so you please take the word. One of the places where French has a very good expression, la parole. You take the word.
All right, la parole. I think I'll just end with reiterating Swami Turiyanandaji's observation, which I think beautifully reconciles the Advaitic approach and the devotional approach. The Advaitic approach is non-dualistic, and the devotional approach seems to be dualistic. But as Swami Turiyananda said, Swami Vivekananda, when he said I, he meant all of it. And for us, that doesn't come so easily. So it's much easier for us to say, thou, my Lord. And there also he says that the true devotee's attitude is not very far from the non-dualist Jnani's attitude. In fact, if the devotee's attitude is I and God are separate, and he gives emphasis on that separateness, that Swami Turiyananda said is not helpful at all. He says it's quite damaging, that kind of devotion. Rather, the devotion which says everything is you. If I can't say honestly that I am all, then I can just say the all is you, my Lord, and I worship you as the all. That's very close to non-dualism. Another place I read, I can't quite recollect where, I think it was Swami Turiyananda and Swami Shivananda talking, and the monk who overheard them and who was there and wrote the reminiscence. Swami Turiyananda was saying that the Brahman is real and the world is false. And Swami Shivananda said, why would the world be false? The Brahman is real, and Brahman is this world, the world is real as Brahman. And the interesting comment is made by the monk who recorded this dialogue. He said, I got the sense they were talking about the same thing. So that's beautiful. From an enlightened person's perspective, that is based on non-duality. And even when that afterwards, that enlightened person talks about devotion and surrender, that's still based on non-duality.
Swami Atmarupananda, would you like to conclude?
Well, there's not much to add to that. That's a beautiful statement. Let me just say, I once had a meeting with a Sufi teacher from Pakistan. I was in Nepal, he was in Nepal. We had a meeting together, and we were talking about non-dualism from the Hindu standpoint, from the Sufi standpoint. And he said something very beautiful, which again brings devotion into the same sphere as the path of non-dualism. He said, a Sufi will never say, I am God. So at first that sounds like, well, that's regular dualism. A Sufi will never say that I am God. But then he said, but for a Sufi to say I am not God is supreme blasphemy. So a Sufi will never say I am God, because that is the ego speaking. I, Swami Atmarupananda, am saying I am not God. Swami Atmarupananda, am saying I am God. And that's the ego taking the position of God. But to say that I am not God, that's separating myself from God and saying that I have an existence separate from God. No, there's the reality is non-dual. And so Vedanta makes a point of saying, yes, I am a Brahman, but with the understanding that I am not speaking from the standpoint of as the ego. So anyway, the Sufi brought that out beautifully. And the last thing, speaking of Sufis, a beautiful poem by Rumi, which I can't quote. It's a very short poem, but the essence of it is, he addresses the individual soul, a devotee, as, oh drop, why are you afraid of the ocean? By selling your drop to the ocean, you gain the ocean itself. What better purchase could there be than that? By selling the drop, you become the ocean.